Hey, what's up guys, it's Jamie. Today we're going to be looking at the bottom sheet for Angular Material. We're going to be going through the docs and seeing what it can do. We can click it and have it open something like that. Okay, first off, if you haven't seen my video on Angular Material Basics, be sure to check that out and this will make more sense. Also, this bottom sheet was introduced in 6.2.1 for Angular Material, so if you're on a version before that, you'll need to upgrade your version to 6 so that you have this component, otherwise it won't be in the code and you can't use it. Alright, first off we need a button so that we can click it and have it open something like that. Alright, so in my own blank project I'm going to import the matte button module as well as the browser animations module. Also we need the matte bottom sheet module. Okay, now that we have that imported, we can go into our example here and copy this button. And this is just a regular button, which when it's clicked, it calls a function called open bottom sheet. Okay, and that'll be looking for a function here in our TypeScript code. So I'll just define that here. Okay, now in the example they gave on the site, they declare the component which the bottom sheet opens up in the same file, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have mine be its own separate file. So I'm just going to generate that real fast. So the way I do that is ng space g for generate, c for component, components slash my sheet. Alright, and that gave us a folder here with my sheet component in it. Alright, and by default that just says my sheet works. Okay, so to actually open up the bottom sheet, first we need to inject the matte bottom sheet provider like so in a constructor. Then we need to import it, and then in our function we can say this.bottomsheet.open, and then we give it the name of the component we would like to open, and that is my sheet component. Okay? Alright, let's test it out. So when I click this, I get this error saying no factory component found for my sheet component. Okay, so that error just means that we need to add an entry components array to our module file, and inside of here we need to put my sheet component. So now Angular knows that my sheet component is an entry component, which means it can be used inside of our bottom sheet. Okay, so back on our page, we'll retry that, and it pops it up right there, so that's cool, that looks nice. Now to make sure that we get the proper styling on the bottom sheet, inside of our styles.css, we need to include this CDK overlay. Okay, so the way we do that is we write include CDK-overlay. We'll leave it like that for now. And this only works inside of an SCSS file, so we actually need to change this file to SCSS. I'm going to change the other ones to SCSS as well, just so that Angular doesn't get confused. Also, I had stopped my server because it's going to lose track of the files since we're changing them. Then inside of the angular.json, I'm going to change this to SCSS as well. Okay, and then I'm going to start the server back up, ng-serve. Okay, then back in our styles.css, it's saying that it can't find the CDK overlay. That makes sense because where I found that CDK overlay is as a mixin inside of the overlay.css file here in node modules at Angular CDK. So I'm going to go ahead and import that. Okay, great. Looks like I also forgot to change in the app.component.ts the extension type to SCSS, as well as in the MySheet component. Okay, so the end result of that is that we have this mixin, which is just a bundle of CSS, which we need for our backdrop to work properly. So now the CSS is all proper. You click and it goes away, whereas before it didn't do anything, and now it shows up at the bottom. So that looks nice. Also, clicking it on and off has proper behavior now too. Okay, now we're going to make the bottom sheet actually do some more interesting things. So inside of their example, they import this mat bottom sheet ref. Okay, so we're going to need that inside of our MySheet component TS. Okay, so I'm going to import that. We don't need this first one though. Okay, the other thing we need is this mat bottom sheet data, and that'll allow us to pass data to the MySheet component if we want to. Okay, so the way we use that is inside of our constructor. We just inject this mat bottom sheet data. So this again will allow us to take data into our sheet component, and I need to import inject as well. This works exactly the same as the mat dialog component, which is for pop-ups. Okay, so here we have a variable data which refers to any data that we passed when we were opening it, which we didn't pass anything, but we can go ahead and do that now. So when we open this sheet, we can pass another variable here, data, and here I'm just going to make it simple, we'll just put a string inside of an object, and it will just say my string. Okay, and that'll be equal to my string in all caps. So that is being passed to the MySheet component, and then inside the MySheet component, instead of saying this paragraph, we can just simply put the data.myString, so that will reach inside of that variable and grab the MyString member and then display it for us. Okay, so when we click it, we see MyString there at the bottom, so that works. Alright, so that was data being passed from the caller to the sheet, but now we can go the other way around. We can go from the sheet to the caller. Okay, and the way we do that is we first need an object like this passed in to our sheet. Okay, so inside of our sheet constructor, I'm going to inject this parameter, bottom sheet ref, and the type that goes here is whatever type your sheet component is. So for me, that's my sheet component. Okay, so we don't really have our sheet doing anything right now, but I'm just going to make an action called myAction. And then inside of here, I'm just going to say this dot bottom sheet ref dot dismiss, and then this actually takes in the data that we want to pass back to the caller. So here I can just pass back a string. In fact, maybe this will be a parameter passed to my action. I'll just call it str. Okay, so this closes the sheet with the string that was passed to my action. And then inside of our my sheet, I'm going to put a couple of buttons. So button, and it's going to be a mat button. And on click, it's going to call my action. And it's going to call it with 1, and then this one will say 1, and then we'll have another one that says 2. Okay, so we have two buttons. They both call my action with different strings, and then my action will close the sheet ref, passing it that string, and then back here in the component, the thing that called the sheet in the first place, this is going to be listening to the after dismissed. So this is called with whatever string was passed back here, and then we can just log that. Okay? So when we click the button, we should see it logged all the way back from the caller. Okay, so we'll click it. We'll see our buttons down here. I'll click 1, and it logs 1. I'll click 2, and it locks too. Alright guys, that's the basics of bottom sheets and getting the CSS styled properly and getting the data communication working. So I hope you liked this video. Let me know if you did in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for more videos like this.